Going in this little bump right here. Oh yes, yeah, the dampening with this is really good. I'm super impressed. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. And in today's video we're going to answer the question of whether or not these are really worth the crazy price premiums they're going for. I mean, on average, these are going for at least $20,000 over sticker, and some places are charging as much as $50,000 over sticker price. So let's figure out what the rave is all about. Anyways, first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Utah for giving me some time with this 4Runner. Check out the inventory in the description down below, and if you happen to stop by, ask for Rick Elliott. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 4-liter V6. It goes through a 5-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 278 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the TRD Pro, and you guys can see this is finished in this special green paint, which is just so beautiful. I love it. Anyways, we've got the hood scoop here in the center with the black accent around it, the giant projector bulbs, and then you've got the LED fog lights just down below that, and then the 4Runner teardrop. And then notice how we've got the regular 4Runner front grille with the Toyota logo, and then a camera right there below the logo. And then you have the high ground clearance front bumper that comes with the TRD Pro, and then also you have the TRD skid plate action happening there, so that it's completely off-road ready. And yeah, this definitely is the best looking 4Runner from a appearance standpoint in general, with all of the aesthetics, but then also the color. I mean, you can't beat the color. Coming around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And yeah, they're the TRD special wheels, which look fantastic. Definitely love the red accent there in the center. And then again, we've got the all-terrain tires. Now we have the TRD tuned Fox shocks and suspension. You guys can see that whole setup right here. So it improves the dampening by a massive amount. And then we've got the splash guard right there off to the side. And it also gives it a really cool stance, as you can see here from the side profile. Looks really good. And then popping here to the rear, just thought I'd show you guys again the tire and wheel setup, the other splash guard, and then I'm actually gonna have to pop under here so you guys can kind of see the suspension a little bit better. Not a lot to see, but it's something. So we still have the key fob in the baggie right here. You can see you got the Toyota logo there on the back, and then you can see you've got like stuff like the unlock and the lock and all that fun stuff. But even in the TRD Pro, it's got a hydraulic lift gate, so you do have to lift it up yourself. And then popping up here, or popping into the rear rather, you guys can see you've got the power outlet back here. You've got the rubber floor mats that come with it. First aid kit, super important. And you guys can see the flat loading floor. Tons of storage space back here, which is great because this is, again, an off-road specialized vehicle. So you want all the storage space. You can take all your camping gear and all that fun stuff. And that's all for the rear. They got a little handle right here so you can pull it down, or easier way is just to grab the bottom and throw it down. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So first off, we have the signature 4Runner taillights, got the 4Runner logo with the TRD Pro badge there down below, and then you have the rack here at the top, which again, you can put a bunch of camping gear, spare tire, whatever you want to put up there, you can put up there. Got the receiver hitch down below, and yeah, there's that. And also, if you guys want a color comparison, this is the new green, and you guys can probably barely see. There's the old green. You guys can see the army green, kind of, sort of, not really, but there you go. Now here's the door panel in the rear. I love the red stitching here, and you've got all of the leather throughout, and it even continues here off to the side. And then the seats still have all the covers on them. So we've got the, again, leather seats, so it makes them easier to clean off when you do take this off-road. So that's something nice thing, and they don't have perforations in them, and that's another thing that lends to easier cleaning. Got the vents right here, and then you guys can see the USBs down below. And, well, also, look at the coloration on that. That's nice. So, yeah. And here's the door panel at the front. Again, you guys can see here with the padding, and then just down below, you've got all of your window controls up here with the door lock and unlock. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then here are the seats at the front. It says TRD there at the top, and then you guys can see again with the leather. It's easier to see down here. And then the stitching goes across. Did you have the power adjustments on the seats? Got the pedals right there. And you guys can see this for the camera view, the outlet to turn that on. Mirror adjustments, and there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel with the TRD Pro. You guys can see the leather at the top and then down below, and then the purple leather here on the sides, so you get a little bit of a better grip. Controls here for the center stack, pages button, and then you can all these controls here for the cruise control, lane keep assist, all that fun stuff. Phone controls, voice command controls, all the normal stuff that you expect on the steering wheel. Got our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. Now here is the center gauge clutch. You guys can see the RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then you do have this screen which you can scroll through a few different menus. So for example, we can see steering angle if you want. You got a little compass, music tab, stuff on the safety tech. There's just a bunch of different menus that you can scroll through. We're gonna keep it at a steering angle actually. But yeah, there you go. Here is the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, you've got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. You got the bird's eye view, and then also you can change the camera viewpoint. And then you guys remember there was that camera button earlier. If I press that, you can see you've got the front view here with the camera, and then press it again, you got the side view. And yeah, really good with that. As for the rest of the infotainment system, responsive with the buttons is great. And then the responsive with the screen is also really solid. Even though the screen might look dated, it's actually, you know, really modern from a response and function standpoint. And there you go. We've got our climate controls down below. This does have a dual zone climate system, and we'll actually pop that on right there and pop that off. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, there you go. There's the controls. I love how you've got the knobs here. I think that's so cool that just, I don't know, it's this nice like sturdy feel to change the temperature. And then down below you guys can see here, little charging area is basically what we'll call it. And then you got a cup holder right here. And then we have our drive line select. So if you're wondering, this has 4-wheel high, 2-wheel high, neutral, and then 4-wheel low. And then you've got the TRD shifter for that 5-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function. And then we have the teardrop, kind of like what they have with the light. And then, yeah, we've got the carbon fiber trim. And then this does come with heated seats here for the front. And you guys can see the functionality on that. You just have to move the buttons. So you got the center console here. You guys can see that whole setup. And then also, this is for the rear window, so it goes down just like in the Tundra. And then we got the glove box, which I opened and then forgot to close. But there's a glove box. I like the trim there. And then also on the dash, it actually looks cool. And this actually helps reduce glare if you don't know that. And then here is the sunroof. Definitely nice feature. And then we have a bunch of controls here at the top. So we have the locker here for the rear. We've got this for like the stability control system, basically. And then this is for like your crawl control. And then this is actually for the drive mode select. So you guys can see we've got, it's the multi-terrain select. So we got mud, sand, dirt, loose rock, mogul, and then rock. And so you've got those that you can go. But yeah, that's the multi-terrain select there at the top. So you feel like a fighter pilot when you're changing modes. So here is the standard equipment on it, as you guys can see. And then you guys can see the TRD Pro specific stuff right there. And then the optional equipment. And then here's a total MSRP, $54,073. And like I said, after market adjustment right now with this market, most of these are going for like $75,000, $80,000. And there's some that are going for over $100,000. So let's take it out and see if it drives like $100,000. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood. Both mirrors do a blind spot. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are going to be setting off here in the TRD Pro 4Runner. And it's been quite a bit of time since I've driven a TRD Pro. And so, well, just any TRD Pro in general. So it's always a fun experience. First thing I noticed is this is so smooth on road. That's one of the benefits of off-road vehicles. So in the past, right, an off-road vehicle used to be kind of rough or more uncomfortable compared to a regular vehicle, whereas nowadays it's like shifted. Off-road vehicles, because of how much they put into the dampening and because you have more sidewall with the tires right there at their proper PSI, they kind of smooth things out, especially bumps and everything. And so you get this nice luxury car experience driving on road, which is definitely a huge plus. And the 4Runner TRD Pro definitely gives you that. Insulation in the cabin's amazing. And it feels like this nice, big, solid vehicle that's just rides super smooth. And yeah, it's just great. It's a really, it lends to a really positive driving experience. Steering, there's a relative amount of vagueness to it, but the steering rack's very light, so that's definitely a big positive. Yeah, super light steering. And yeah, you guys can kind of see the vagueness. I mean, there's a little bit of motion, but it's relatively vague. See how the brakes are. pretty normal with that whole setup. Got to go through the roundabout. Got to say that for the Canadian followers, right? Just kidding. Handling's good though. Let's go over the bump. Oh yeah, the dampening on this is amazing. Wow. I'm going in this little bump right here. Oh yes. Yeah, the dampening with this is really good. I'm super impressed. Sounds pretty good too. Sounds pretty decent. Going through the roundabout again. I'm gonna just keep doing that. Sorry. If you're from Canada, I'm sorry, I had to. Or Minnesota. Canada or Minnesota. Had to. Yeah, decent. Definitely better than a Wrangler. Steering is definitely better than a Wrangler. It's vague like a Wrangler, but it's got more directness than a Wrangler, we'll say that. So yeah, I guess let's get into the topic of today's video, right? Is this really worth the six-figure price tag that some of these are going for across the country? Which, by the way, Brent Brown Toyota is not charging over $100,000 for this thing, if you guys are wondering. I'm talking about in general, right? Anyways, it looks really good. From the outside, the new color, the lime green, is fantastic. Interior-wise, it's a nice interior. The seats are comfortable. It's ergonomic. Everything's super durable with this. And then driving-wise, the dampening's great. It drives like a luxury car. It's not the quickest, right, with the acceleration, but it gets up and moves. And here's what I have to say is, first off, TRD Pros, right, it's hard to get a hold of them, so that's part of the reason why the values go up so much. Right now, right, the market's kind of crazy in general. But I think the appeal with the 4Runner is the durability aspect of it, right? Is you're buying this vehicle that we know for a fact with the engine and powertrain is going to last for several 100,000 miles, no problem. You can't say that about a lot of other modern vehicles. And so I think that people are willing to pay the price premium to get something that they feel is going to be really reliable for a long time. And I mean, it's true, right? It will be. But yeah, I really think that that's the big appeal of this, and that's why the prices are becoming so inflated. Is that's what people want? Is they want this vehicle that they know they can take off road and they can daily drive and all this stuff and do whatever they want with it, and it's still going to work. So yeah, I mean, I understand it, but yeah, that is the new 4Runner TRD Pro, and pretty crazy pricing, but it makes sense when you think about everything that this vehicle is about. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota here in Utah for giving me some time with the TRD Pro. Check out the inventory in the description down below. As per Rick, I'll see you guys.